Hi everyone, welcome to Handmade. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Samantha, and this is where we share what we've been sewing and making over the last couple of weeks.
We have actually been very busy, although it doesn't really look like it. The things that we have been doing have been quite time consuming for not a lot to show for it.
Yeah.
But we have been working, and we do actually have something finished. So I mentioned last time that my brother's birthday was coming up and that I wanted to make him some long pajama pants. So I made those. So I used this fabric that Mum's had for ages. It's just checkered flannelette, which is very similar to the fabric that she used for his last pair. And I used a simplicity pattern. I'll pop the number on the screen. So I finished it, except his birthday was yesterday and he hasn't tried them on yet. And I thought that the length of elastic that I cut was a bit big. So once he tries it on, I'll just sew that up. But he loves them and he said that he was really happy to have another pair.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. I'm actually really keen to get started on our bear pajama pants. I really want to make this.
So the project that's taken up a lot of our time is my dress, the Simplicity 9041. It's been an experience, hasn't it? When you actually look at the photo, because she has her hand up, you cannot really see what the bodice looks like. And it's actually very oversized and loose, isn't it? It's just quite shapeless, actually, I think is the word I'm looking for.
It's quite voluminous.
Yes, yeah. So I should have cut out a smaller size in hindsight. Like, the sizing was too big. But even though I have done some alterations to it, I'm still not really happy with it. And I think the next step will be to take the side seams in a little bit. However, that actually really changes the shape of the bodice, and it then isn't really what it's meant to be. But I don't like what it's meant to be. So in order for me to be happy with the dress, I'm going to have to alter it so that it fits me better. Because it just looks so shapeless and awful, doesn't it?
I think that it's just not flattering to your body type.
Yes, that's what it is.
I think that was the problem that I had with it as well, because you and I are very similar shape, and I just it was very, when like we put my dress on you and then we put your bodice on, and when you put yours on, it was just so mumsy.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
And we've done quite a lot of alteration to it. One of our viewers said that, like, just like Mum and I, we're similar size in like the shoulders. And so this viewer said about how, like, the actual width of the garment at the shoulders was possibly too big, which was making it look frumpy. Yeah. And so when we put it back on, we thought, yes, that is actually absolutely right. So we cut, like, out of the shoulder armhole, which definitely did make it better. Yes. And then we shortened it by, was it
an inch and a half? I think we did an inch, yeah.
Because it was just way too long. And then we re-put in the pleat, and then we were going to reassess whether or not we thought that the sides needed to come in. And we've just sort of roughly pinned it in from where it was by about
Gee, that'd have to be bordering on an inch, wouldn't it?
No, that would be like a centimetre, I think.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking from there.
Yeah, yes. Probably it would make it an inch seam allowance.
Yeah.
Take it from 1.5 to probably 2.5.
Yeah.
So I think that does make it better though.
It gives it more shape, doesn't it? Which is a lot better. The sleeve option was this sort of fluttery sleeve, which I wasn't really a fan of. So what we decided to do was use the sagebrush sleeve. So we've put one of the sleeves in, and it actually looks fantastic. I'm really, really thrilled with it. So that's the sleeve there. And it looks really, really pretty. So the sleeve is great. I'm really happy with that. So I think what we're going to have to take that in. So I'll just have to undo the sleeve and take it in. But I think once we take the side seams in, it should be a lot better. Then how are we going to get it to fit on the skirt though?
Well, my theory is, like, the skirt is supposed to, you can sort of see in the line drawings, it's supposed to like fit on and then have the elastic around it. So I figure if we gather it on a little bit and then put the elastic in, by the time the elastic gathers it, you won't notice a little bit of gather.
Oh, okay.
Maybe at the front and the back or the sides or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see any other way, unless if you cut the skirt down, which we don't really want to do.
No. If it was gathered, it wouldn't really matter, would it?
Well, I don't think it would. I don't think you'd really notice.
No. See, it's quite deceiving too, isn't it? Like when you look at the line drawings there, it actually looks like it's more shaped than what it is. Like you can just sort of see the little detail there where the pleat is, but it's a really loose pleat. It's just not, yeah, like it's just sort of, you can see at the bottom there, it's just a very, very, very loose pleat, which just really doesn't give it any shape. But I guess the reality is it is quite a shapeless top, isn't it?
Yes, but it doesn't look so bad on other people.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems is I don't have a lot of bust, and therefore it doesn't fill out the bodice, and I think that is the fundamental problem.
And it just sort of hangs off you.
It does, and it looks terrible. Yeah.
Whereas by taking in the side seams, it's going to make it more fitted.
More fitted, yeah. So still a little bit more work to do on that.
But like we have spent a lot of time like measuring and trying on and sort of cutting and things out, and like we have actually worked a lot, but it doesn't look like we've hardly done it.
We are getting closer though, aren't we? Like
yeah. Well, once we've just sorted out those side seams, it's basically the other sleeve, skirt, elastic, ties done.
Yeah. So hopefully by next time we will have a finished dress. But I don't think I would make this dress again because the bodice just doesn't look good on me. No, which is sad, but I think you learn these things as you go along, don't you?
Well, I think that it has been a good learning curve for us because we've always been too scared to do alterations, but with the help from a few people in the comments, like we've sort of managed to piece together enough knowledge to sort of know what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm actually quite pleased with what we've done, But I've come to the conclusion that I actually need a more fitted bodice. It gives me more shape and looks better. So even though it's sort of been, you know, a bit of a debacle, it has. We've learnt from it, haven't we? And those type of bodices just are not for me.
Yeah.
But I'm really looking forward to finishing it and actually having a nice dress to wear. Yeah.
So I've sewn a couple of seams on our little bear, which is going to end up looking like this one here. So last time I had my pieces pinned together, but I've sewn both of the ears, and then I've sewn the leg together, and then the little sort of sole of the paw is going to go in there.
Yeah.
And then we've put together the two colours on the arms, and my arms were both cut the right way, so I've got both of mine.
Yeah, I haven't done any more work on mine.
I haven't had a lot of time to work on my B6496 jacket, but I've been trying to sort of just make a little bit of progress on things, even if it's not a lot. And so both of the sleeve pieces, I've got them pinned together at the edge seam. So then I'll just sew those and overlock them, and then I can start working on setting them in.
I think that's the best way to do it, rather than put it off and not do anything. It's good just to do a little bit, and at least you've done something towards your goal of getting it finished.
That's right. And even if you only spend 5 minutes a day, it's surprising how much progress you can actually make on something.
That's right, yes. Yeah, we actually thought we were going to have a lot more sewing time than we had, because my son came out one weekend, and then the following weekend I went to visit my brother who came up from Sydney. So there was 2 weekends where we didn't have any sewing time. So next week, or the next 2 weeks, I'm hoping that we will actually have some time on the weekend to sew.
Yeah. I feel like working on this dress has sort of really made us a little bit cautious about choosing the right size, because we've always sort of really struggled with it, because quite often you look at the measurements on the back and like the size that you would fit into is just ridiculous, like a 16. And then of course you go with what it says and then it doesn't fit. And so we have been wanting to make this 2129 pinafore, and so we got out the pattern pieces and they had all of the finished garment measurements on it. So we got our tape measure and we like put it, you know, say it was 36 inches, we got it, and we sort of wrapped it around to see like how much ease that would give.
Yes.
And so for you, we've decided that we're going to do a 10 at the bust and the waist, grading to a 14 at the hips.
Yes.
Because we really want this to be right.
Oh, we do. Yeah, you don't have to go through all the saga of resizing everything once you've cut it all out and everything.
That's right. And the other thing that we know now is that because of your short waist, we need to raise up the waist.
Yes.
Which I think that is going to make a huge difference to the way that things fit you, because quite often it is the hips that are the problem, but really the waist section is near your hips because it's just so out of proportion with the way that you're actually shaped.
Yes, I'm very, very short in the waist. Yeah. It's funny, all these years I've never really noticed it.
No.
But now that I'm making my own clothes, it's suddenly become quite apparent. So yes, lifting up the waist will really improve it, I think.
I agree. And then for me, we've decided that we're going to grade it in 2 sizes to be more of a 6, because like the measurements for the 10 were just going to be huge. So I think that a 6 will hopefully work quite well.
I think for you it should, because you're normally a 6 in most patterns. So yeah.
So we actually managed to find a fabric in our stash for my sort of test run version. So it's this beautiful navy blue one. So this is what Mum made her vintage square neck dress from.
Yes.
And I've always loved this fabric, and so I'm really hoping that this truly is going to be a wearable version.
Yeah.
I think it will be. I think that, and the other thing with a style like this is, if it needed to be taken in at the sides, I think it wouldn't be too hard because you don't have sleeves to contend with. And
True, yeah.
And if you couldn't get the facing to fit back in, you could just use bias binding. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it'll be good. That's going to be a really nice winter colour too, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm really excited about it.
Yes. Yeah, so hopefully over the next 2 weeks we will get time to at least get those cut out. We were going to do that last time and it didn't work out that way.
No.
But yeah.
And the other thing that I would really like to do is I've got fabric for another sagebrush top for my grandma, and I'd really like to get working on that because I love making the sagebrush. It's one of my favourite patterns.
Yeah, I love wearing it. I don't know that I so much like making it.
I think
it's just the binding. I find that a bit tricky.
Whereas I don't mind doing binding, so I don't mind doing your binding.
Yeah.
It's quite funny, like we both have different skills and things that we prefer. Like Mum is so good at pressing up hems, so she presses up all the hems, and then I do all the fiddly things like gathering and binding and stuff. And it works really well. Like it's a really, you know, we don't mind helping each other.
Yeah.
And I'm more of the pattern tracer and you're more of the pattern cutter because you like to save all this fabric and cut it on one layer, whereas I just fold it in half and cut it all up.
Yes, I can't stand fabric wastage.
And so she's got to leave the room if I'm cutting something out. But see, when she does things on the single layer, that's how she ends up with 2 arms that are the same because she gets confused.
That is very true. Yes.
We've had many an instance like that. So yeah, we like to work together and that's sort of the way that we like to do things is I'll trace everything, like I'll trace both patterns and you'll cut them. And I think that it actually helps us to be more productive.
Oh, it does.
Because we're not double handling everything.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I think we're very lucky that we complement each other. Yes.
So we're really excited to get working on these new things.
Yes.
I think that we'll work a bit on the jacket, get the sleeves in at least. And then I would really like to get started on these pinafores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I think if we both worked on that jacket, we could probably knock it out pretty quickly.
Probably, and then we wouldn't have it on our conscience.
Yeah,
we wouldn't feel bad about working.
Yeah, about starting something new. Yes. Yeah. Plus, it has turned cold again. We had sort of it was cold, and then we had sort of a little bit of a
hot spell.
And now it's gone cold again. So it would be good to be able to have the jacket to wear.
Yeah. So I think that by next time we'll have a finished dress, a finished jacket, and hopefully started on our pinafores.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. So until next time, happy sewing.